So the rest of this section up to Midsummer Norton Station would be along the old Somerset and Dorset Railway. But here's where the Fosseway once carried on. Again, steep, muddy, very sharp incline by the look of it. Let's give this a go. This is the very narrow track. I don't think this is rideable either way. All the sections so far, even if I've had to walk them today, I'm pretty sure I could ride them in the opposite direction. But this, I don't think either way. Too narrow, too dangerous. And you can see how high it's climbing. Just a few hundred yards, we're already looking down on Midsummer Norton. Carry on up here through Westfield. Again, completely reliant on the GPX track here. This is all unfamiliar to me. In a minute, when we get to the top of here, before we get too close to noisy traffic, I'll tell you a little bit about my plans. After about a quarter of a mile, that really steep muddy track, I was slipping just pushing the bike up there, totally unrideable both directions I would say. You emerge onto this gravelly track. There's a bit of an industrial building in there. Worth pointing out that this is really in the heart of the old Somerset coalfields, so this would have been all coal mines around here. I imagine that's probably an old pit. A little bit more about the reason for today's ride and my mid-term plan. As I said, I'm going to ride the Fosseway from Exeter to Lincoln, hopefully in June. The reason I'm doing June is because I'm trying to benefit from the really long hours of daylight. I really don't want to rush the Fosseway, but on the other hand, I do appreciate there are large sections of fairly busy main road. I'm going to try and ride those in the very early hours. It may still be dark, but in June, I mean, I know from previous experiences, you start getting the first bit of daylight around about 3 AM in the morning. I have a rough itinerary, so this is it, but it could well change. I'm going to get a train from my hometown of Bath to Exeter, probably start the ride around the old Roman walls of Exeter, and then head about 3.7 miles to a travel lodge where I'm just going to hold up for a few hours, and then leave there about 2:33 AM. And on day one, I'm going to ride the 72 miles from the travel lodge in Exeter to my hometown in Bath. And this, what I'm doing today, is going to be the final leg from Shepton Mallet to Bath, which is why I wanted to research it a little bit. I didn't want to be doing all this for the first time at the end of a very long day. That's the plan. The second night will be at my home in Bath, and then there's the long leg from Bath to Leicester. I'm going to break that into 2 days. It's 108 miles, and I'm going to bivvy on that somewhere around Morton in the Marsh or in the Cotswolds somewhere. Take the bivvy bag. I can stay flexible, very lightweight. Obviously I won't need to take that to Exeter because I can just reload at Bath. And then that would be the third night would be bivvying. The fourth night would be at Leicester Forest Travel Lodge. It's just a couple of miles west off the Fosseway, and again I'll be getting up about 2 AM in the morning because the final leg between Leicester and Lincoln is A46, and that could well get busy, especially around rush hour. So again, I'll try and break the back of that ride before dawn, or before rush hour at least. That's the plan anyway. I haven't booked anything yet because obviously the uncertainty surrounding the easing of lockdown, but there's travel lodges exactly where I want them. I quite fancy the idea of bivvying as well, and I've researched the train prices for April. They're not giving you the train prices for June yet because obviously they can't commit to providing that, but with my senior rail card I think it was £12.50 single to Exeter. When I finish at Lincoln, I'll really relax and clean up and have a look round, maybe meet up with my niece who lives there and works there. Then the following day I'll ride 56 miles, I think it is, to Derby, where I hop on a train. It's £26.95 at the moment. That's just one journey straight on at Derby, no changing, anything like that. And I'll probably get off at Bristol Parkway. It's 6 2/3 whether I get off at Parkway or Temple Meads heading back to Bath. Parkway's a little bit more interesting, to be honest. That's my plans anyway. Again, open to either postponement, cancellation, revision. We'll just have to wait and see, but it's worth having a goal to aim for. As I said earlier in the film, I got quite fixated about riding the Fosseway, something I really want to do now. I'm going to head this way through Westfield, get back on the main Radstock Road, through Stratton-on-the-Foss, past the Abbey there. I'll stop there and maybe talk about it. And then as I cross down over the Nettlebridge Valley, there's a big curve in the road there. You can actually take the old Fosseway, the straight cutting off the curve just on minor roads there, before I then climb up to the hills overlooking Shepton Mallet, and then there's the last section of Bridleway there. That's where that track emerges. We're opposite the co-op. So now I'm heading this way. Just leaving Westfield. Gosh, I got a whiff of fish and chips there. Whether they're doing takeaways or not, I don't know, but you know what it's like on a sunny day. That smell's just going to stay with me for the rest of the day. Anyway, this is the entrance to Westfield Trading Estate, and as you can see, the Fosseway. I've now passed White Post roundabout. That pub over there is called the White Post, and this is where the road splits. It's a roundabout, so that way is a B road that goes off towards Wells over the Mendips. That way's heading towards Frome, and we're now back on the A367, the Radstock Road. Just round the corner, we're going to pass through Stratton-on-the-Foss. Although it's a nice sunny day now, the wind's starting to really pick up. I think the BBC forecast it is 16-17 miles an hour. I'm riding into it, which is one of the reasons for my decision to ride from Exeter to Lincoln. There's no guarantee, but the probabilities are I should have a tailwind. Having said that, I once tried to talk a friend out of riding John O'Groats to Land's End. I sort of said the chances are you'll have headwind all the way. It may ruin the trip for you. As it turned out, he had tailwind most of the way, apart from the last 2 days, which he did admit were horrendous. And just coming into Stratton-on-the-Foss, and it's quite a significant landmark here. There's a public school, that amazing abbey. That's actually much younger than you would think it would be. I think it's just over 100 years old. I actually had a look around that one day. I just went in and said, could I have a look around? And it's fine, school holidays. They let me wander around. I made a video of that, so I'll put a link to that in the top of the screen now. There was 2 airplane crashes over several decades in the grounds of that, so I talked a little bit about that in that video. I just pulled into the school grounds to have a look at the abbey. You can see it's pretty spectacular. I'm not going to go any further today because of social distancing, but it is well worth just going in the office and asking if you can have a look around that. This is another one of my deviations. You see Stratton-on-Foss 1 mile that way. The road now starts curving as it drops down through the Nettlebridge Valley. I'm going to try and do something as faithfully as possible to try and stick to the original course. It is on road actually, it's minor roads, so I'm going to take that left there. Because this area is not so well known, I think a lot of people don't realise quite how high up the Stratton-on-the-Foss is. You can see the Mendip transmitter there over towards Wells. Then there's a Masbury transmitter up there. We're about to drop steeply down across the Nettle Bridge and then carry on up there. I don't know if this little minor road is actually the original Fosseway. It feels more authentic, but I'm certainly going to be taking a straight bit out of the curve shortly, which I would say definitely is the Fosseway. This is the Nettle Bridge Valley twist. You may see the cars going up there and then it bends and snakes around here. This is the road down to Nettle Bridge. I'll put the slide on the screen now. You'll see there's almost like a semicircle I've taken out with a straight line. Funny enough, there was a Tesla just came up here. It parked here, waited for gap in the traffic and just pulled away. All you could hear was a slight bit of tyre on the gravel. Absolutely noiseless. That's the shape of things to come, I think, electric cars. This gives you quite a good idea of what I'm doing. So I've just left a kink in the road. Now I'm heading that way. Literally goes down and straight up where those two people are. Then you can see the road twisting round there, and then it'll meet just about where that car is now. Looks like there's some llamas in that field. Oh yeah. Just before this minor road rejoins the main road, indication here of its past, the old coach house. You could easily ride by here and just think this is a modern day farm. So you really get the idea this was the old coach road. Once again today though with the Fosseway, I've been struggling to get up it in places, certainly with the mud and the wheels slipping. How on earth the Romans did it 2,000 years ago. It's mind-boggling really. I know it wouldn't have been mud in places like it was today, but it certainly wouldn't have been tarmac either. It's just as I said, mind-boggling really. Just about to join the main road again at the top of what I call the Nettle Bridge curves. So I've just come the straight way, and just over the brow of this hill is the village of Oak Hill. I'm now in Oak Hill, right by the crossroads at the Oak Hill Inn. I think I may have missed a bit of the Fosseway. Back that way a couple of 100 yards. There was a footpath signposted and it's going straight on. And now my route that I've put in my Garmin is taking me off a sharp left, so I guess I'm going to intersect it along there. So one of the sections I've missed, I think. I'll have to come back and re-research that. I've just come along that direction, the direction the cyclist is heading, and lo and behold I did make a mistake. I could have cut through there. It says footpath. It didn't show up on OSM, but it's actually called Fossetoll Cottage. And this is where I'm heading. So just to recap, I probably could come across there. I may come out and revisit this. I actually went a bit further over there on the main road and then I turned left to reach this point. Now I'm going right. It goes up over what I call the Masbury Ridge, and then there's the final drop down into Shepton Mallet. the top of this leg, a couple of walkers not far behind me with a dog. This is the main Wells to Radstock Road. He's just crossed the A367, just before it's about to drop down, plunge steeply down into Shepton Mallet. I'm going to turn right here and then immediate left, so I guess I'm going through those woods for the final section down to Shepton. I'd come up from the left, join the main road, just literally along 50 yards. There's this little parking area and it looks like a much more defined track now. It's called Beacon Hill Wood. There's a signboard there, information board, so let's go and see what that says, whether it refers to the Fosseway. Yes, it does. That's the way I've just come up from Oak Hill. And then you can see this is marked. Oh, it's going to bend round a little bit and then it becomes a Fosseway Roman road course of. The final leg. Dropping down through the woods very steeply. It's a fairly defined track, and look what I'm starting to pick up. Some Roman numerals by the look of it. It's been the second one I've spotted, also a bench, and that's the second bushcraft shelter I've spotted on that way to Shepton Mallet. The section down through the woods was really nice, quite rideable. I had to take a lot of care, to be honest. Then it became very boggy and muddy along there. I had to walk a lot of that. It's not actually a mountain bike, it may look like one, but the tyres are semi-slick, so there's not much tread on them. I was just getting bogged down. That's the Fosseway coming into Shepton. The final leg down to the main road, Charlton Road. Back on a ruler straight road now. You may see the woods behind me that I've just descended through. Very near to my turning point for today. I'll have a bit of lunch when I get to the most southern spot, and then what I'll be doing is I'll be just going a mile or so eastwards and then using minor roads back to Bath, roads that I know quite well, which run parallel to today's route. I'm going to take a left hand turn there, get off this main road fairly quickly, and then head over that way, only about half a mile or so, and then parallel the route out back north to Bath. Well, I've just cut a corner of that main road off and I'm actually right overhead of the East Somerset Railway, so going that way would be Shepton Mallet, and behind me is going towards Cranmore. That's the road I've just come from. I'm cutting the corner of that main busy road I was on. I'm heading this way up to Dalting, where I'm going to have my lunch. I'll be crossing that main road and then heading up over the Mendips, Holcombe, back down to Radstock, through the two tunnels back into Bath. Thoroughly enjoyed today. It's been fantastic. It gives me a good idea of what to expect on the first day of the Fosseway. I got to say, coming down through the woods was fantastic, and then it got very muddy at the bottom. I had to walk most of that. My tyres just wouldn't cope with that amount of mud. I did pass a guy who said it's much more boggy than normal, so I'll take all that into account when I actually do ride the Fosseway. If it's been torrential rain and I'm tired, I'll probably cut that leg out. If it's dry and I'm feeling good, I'm going to try and do as much as possible, but bearing in mind it will be the end of the longest day, day one. I'm probably so close to back to Bath. I'll be really looking forward to getting home for my overnight before heading on up to Leicester. My plans for the next few weeks is coming up to April, so The Audax system is reopening on March the 29th, Monday, and so I had to postpone a DIY 200 the day of the third lockdown, so I'm going to redo that hopefully before the end of March. I can't do it Monday because I've got my MOT booked that day, hopefully before the 1st of April, if not soon afterwards. And then, as I understand it, as from April the 12th, it's okay to stay away overnight as long as you don't mix in large groups. So I'm hopefully going to do a wild camp that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I was hoping to do it through the winter. And in some ways it's quite good because I discovered something about it recently through somebody else's video that I had no idea about. So hopefully that'll make an interesting video. For the time being though, I'm going to head this way. About a mile's time, there's a seat by the pub I think. I'm going to have a snack there because I'm absolutely starving. Thoroughly enjoyed today. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Look out for each other, stay safe, and until next time.